Today, I'm going to be trading from one scrap metal all the way to an Australian weapon. This means that I start with one scrap and trade it for a weapon, then trade that for a better weapon, then that for a better weapon, and so on and so forth until I get to Australia. This video took an insanely long time to make, so be sure to give it a like and subscribe for more content like this. The rules are very simple. I'm not allowed to use trading websites, I can only trade with real people, not bots. I'm not allowed to ask more than once. If someone says no, I leave the server. All profit must come from the scrap metal. I cannot receive a weapon without giving something that originated from the scrap. And finally, I cannot exchange an item for metal, neither can I trade it for multiple items. The item I trade for must be a direct upgrade in quality or price. Well, without any further ado, let's get into this video. I went into day one feeling pretty confident. I met a bunch of people who said no to trading my scrap for one of their weapons, which was unusual as who wouldn't want a beautiful shiny piece of scrap metal. Anyway, I eventually met someone in a double cross server called Skywars Pro 08, and he seemed pretty keen to get his hands on my scrap. So of course, I jumped onto that opportunity and sent him a trade. Thankfully, he accepted it and offered a Blutsauger. I was pretty happy with this, so I confirmed the trade and accepted it. So, with my first trade done, I now have a Blutsauger. But this wasn't great progress, as a Blutsauger is hardly more expensive than one scrap. So, I set out to trade it for a war-painted weapon. Unsurprisingly, no one wanted to make this trade, and I don't blame them, as a Blutsauger is definitely worth a lot less than a decorated weapon. I went from server to server, constantly being turned down by all kinds of gamers. That is, until I met a gamer called Indesk. I told them that I had a Blutsauger and that I wanted to trade it for a decorated weapon, and fortunately, he had a civil servant MK2 pistol that he didn't seem to want. So I sent him a trade, he accepted it, and now I have a decorated pistol. I figured this was absolutely great progress as I had worked out that I had made a whopping 16 cents. So I took a break for the day. Day 2 started off slow. I was starting to explore some trading servers, but whenever I wanted to trade, I was either straight up ignored or rudely declined. That is, until I met this super nice guy called Rick Astley. As far as I know, this actually could be the real Rick Astley. Anyway, I asked him if he wanted to trade my decorated pistol for one of his vintage items, and he said yes. What I didn't know was that the vintage hound dog that he gave me was actually worth 1.5 keys. Once I looked it up, I was absolutely stunned, but Rick didn't seem to care that much, which was really awesome. Thank you, Rick. On day 3, I only made one trade, and that was the hound dog for a specialized killstreak on of his kunai. Now, the kunai was worth less than the hound dog, but I hoped that someone might trade it for something fairly expensive, as specialized killstreak on of his kunai sounds a lot cooler than hound dog. Turns out, I was right. My predictions had been correct, as a guy named Ender traded my kunai for a vintage Merryweather. As in, the hat is called the vintage Merryweather, and it's of vintage value. Yeah. Soon afterwards, a guy called, Vinlosaurus? I don't even know. Anyway, he traded my hat for two things, a flippin' awesome taunt, and a strange critical kills counter. Now, I know that that is against the rules, but if I only traded one thing for another, it would get to the point where I would be trying to trade strangers for unusuals, and I don't want to scam people like that. So I decided that I would allow trading for multiple items as long as I stuck to the rule of everything coming from the scrap. On day 5, I hopped into Rick Astley, now named Vincent Van Gogh Enjoyer's DMs. I asked him if he wanted to trade something for my critical kills counter and taunt. Now, he actually ended up saying yes. He asked what I'd like to trade for, and I told him that one of his decorated strange sticky bomb launchers would be great. Now, apparently he doesn't play Demo Man much, and this utter gigachad actually ended up giving me 4 different launchers. I was absolutely stoked at the progress. Now, all I needed to do was to trade these launchers for a cheap unusual. On day 6, something happened to me that I knew would happen eventually. I got scammed. A guy called Kanye West, not the real one obviously, told me he'd trade his professional killstreak Bat Out of Hell kit fabricator for my silver bot killer sticky launcher, claiming his fabricator to be 1 key. Unfortunately, after the trade, I found out that it was actually worth 9 cents. 9 cents. I hope this loss wouldn't affect the challenge too much, but I was yet to find out. I started day 7 feeling quite confident. Little did I know it was going to be the worst day yet. I was being rejected left, right and centre. No one wanted my launches as they were barely the price of a mere key. I realised at that point that this challenge was, well, probably impossible. It would almost definitely take me months upon end to find people generous enough to trade an unusual taunt to me. So, with that being said, I am going to end this video here. I might try to complete this incredibly difficult challenge in the future, but until then, I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one.